you for tuning in to Madison HD Sportsnet presented by the JMU Alumni Association. I'm Kevin Warner, joined by JMU men's basketball head coach Matt Brady. We're here today to announce the final newcomer for the 2014-15 squad for the Dukes. And that newcomer is a transfer. He comes from Butler University, a Florida native, Devontae Morgan. Coach Brady, tell us about your new guard and Devontae.
So interesting that we were involved with him. I remember watching Devontae when he had already been committed to Butler University as a junior in high school. I watched him the summer before his senior year, and he was an explosive, terrific athlete that played the game the right way. And here we are a few years later, with a staff change and Brad Stevens leaving Butler and going to the Boston Celtics. And, as it turns out, there was some interest on his part to want to pursue JMU. And remembering his game so well from that July, I was excited to be involved in his recruitment. He visited campus, loved JMU, had a connection with Andre Nation. They had played against each other. They're from the same geographical area. And, he loved his visit, and he loved the opportunity to potentially take that year off, get bigger and stronger, and really a more skillful basketball player.
So tell us a little bit about Devontae's game. I've heard a lot about his defensive prowess, his athleticism. What are his strengths, and what are maybe some of the things that he'll have to sit out the 14-15 season as a transfer? So what kind of things will you look for maybe him to improve during that time?
Well, I think one of the things that he knows he needs to improve on is strength, getting stronger, his strength, his upper body strength. He's an explosive athlete, but he's not really gotten a lot stronger in his 2 years at Butler. And, he recognizes that strength is a big part of the evolution of his game. And with our strength and conditioning staff led by Greg Werner, that's a home run. It'll be easy for Devontae to get stronger. And the truth of the matter is the other part of his game that probably needs a lot of work is shooting. We think we're getting a really skillful basketball player, but that area of the game is not the strength of his game. And to be able to take a player that's really invested in himself and recognizes that he needs to improve in that one area and to have a year to do it, I'm really excited about the opportunity to work with him and make him better, because what he can really do, he can really defend it. 1, 2, and 3, he can guard any one of those positions. He's got really long arms. He's got really big hands. He's got a terrifically explosive first step. So we think a really terrific young guy and a terrific kid. I mean, just an absolute star of a young person. So we're really excited about it.
Taking a little bit of an aside from something that you said, you talked about Devontae coming on campus and the impact of knowing that JMU was a comfortable place, a place he wanted to be. What is it about JMU that, I know you tell kids about the school and maybe they don't quite get it, doesn't click, but so often it seems when those student athletes visit this campus and they get here, they just feel something different.
Well, I do think kids feel comfortable on this campus, and I think when you talk about the size of the school, and yet it's really, for the most part, a self-contained university. It's a very walkable campus. It's pretty. It's immaculate. It's green. It's kind of tucked away, but there's 20,000 kids here, all their same age. And I think some of the resources that you have here, the housing on campus and off campus is terrific. And the academic reputation of our school is really second to none, certainly in the state of Virginia and within the CAA. And I think, the thing that we feel comfortable with is our guys have done a really good job selling our team and our program, because we like the guys we have in our team. They're really regular guys, and we're proud of the guys we have in the program. And I think that Devontae is going to be as good a salesman for JMU in another year or two as anybody we have on our roster.
Speaking of guys selling your team, that's actually the next question. Winston Gray's had connections with Rayshawn Goins, a former player. Joey McLean connections with Jackson Kent, and now Devontae has a long relationship with Andre Nation, playing ball against each other in high school. What role did Andre have in Devontae ending up here at JMU?
Well, I think there was obviously a relationship there. They're not best of friends, but there's certainly a relationship, and I think they were mutual admirers of each other's game. I mean, talking to Andre Nation when we first got involved with Devontae, he remembered him as I just talked to you about him, which was, a terrific athlete, really explosive and very defensive minded. And when I talked to Devontae about Andre, what struck me was he recognized that Andre has gotten better. Like he knew Andre was a guy that when he was at Durant High School, as a senior in high school before he went to prep school, he was just a kid who evolved towards the end of his senior year, had a really good senior year, Andre Nation. Then he went to prep school and nobody really heard about him. And then obviously his freshman year here at JMU, he became somewhat of a very known quantity because of our because of our success. And I think a lot of that was, he had success, our team had success, we were in the NCAA tournament, we played a fast style, and it is our intention to play fast. So I think Devontae having knowledge of and a relationship with Andre was helpful, but it wasn't really something that I think was critical for him to come here. I think there was a comfort level, but not a critical nature of it.
Now that your 2014-15 squad is finally complete with Devontae joining, granted, he won't be on the court during this season, but he'll certainly be integral in practice and helping the team develop as a whole. So how do you like how your squad shapes up? A lot of new impact in the guard play area, and then also Hari Hall there in the middle to shore things up a bit. So how do you like your 14-15 squad?
Well, I like this team a lot, Kev. We talk about it as a staff. I like this team, and I like its approach in the spring and now the summer. The workouts have been terrific. Our oldest guys, I think the light is coming on in terms of what they need to do to continuously improve their own game. They're investing a lot of their time now, which clearly was not the case last year at this time, because as you recall, and I say this very often, our sophomores from this past year, they played a lot as freshmen, had really nice freshman years, and I think that it was natural for them to assume that they were going to continue to just evolve. It takes a lot of work, and these two juniors now, Andre Nation and Ron Carey, have spent a lot of time in the gym. Our freshman class that will now be sophomores have been absolute gym rats, and I think that this incoming class is a terrific class by any measure. This is a very good class. They're all excited about coming to JMU, and very much like how Devontae feels like it's a natural fit. And they're guys that spend a lot of time in the gym, and they're very athletically gifted, very gifted. So I love the team, and knock on wood, Kev, if we keep this team together just for these next 2 years, this is a team that can be really successful because we have all the elements of a good team, and I think we're going to have what we seem to have had right now is really good chemistry.
What is the emphasis for the 2014-15 season? I know with every new team, it's a new chance to look at what you're doing, how the talent you have fits what you're trying to do on offense, defense, etc. Is there anything different you're looking at for this squad heading into next year?
Well, there is probably. Number one, the most important thing offensively is this team's got to clearly shoot the ball better. So this group has spent a lot of time with the coaches and on their own shooting the basketball. I think the second thing is we want to play faster, so we're trying to get even in better shape. And while it's only June, guys recognize that we're going to play fast. We're going to try and pick up full court as much or more so than our team did 2 years ago. I think this team we are deep. I think we are athletic. We're not overly tall at 4 and 5, but we're athletic. There's a lot of versatility. There's a lot of depth, and we're going to use that depth probably more so than any point that I've ever been a head coach. We're going to play a lot of guys. We're going to play fast, and we're going to put pressure on the ball really for 40 minutes, and we're excited about that. I think the kids are excited about that. But we've got to shoot the ball better, and we've got to pass the ball better and quicker, really, than we did last year.
I know when you talk about playing full court, playing high energy, fast, a lot of people will think about using that full court pressure in more of a let's get steals, let's get possessions. In the past, you've used it almost more of let's change the shot clock.
Right.
Does that change at all now with this team?
Yeah, I think it does. 2 years ago we tried to be disruptive, and I think this year we are going to talk about we want to be the next level above disruptive. We do want to steal the ball. Some of our guys are so athletic, and even some of our new guys are so athletic. If we can get deflections and steals, we want to turn them into layups and dunks because we are athletic. These kids are going to be excited about playing this way. I think the fans are going to love how we play this way. And, at some point, as a coach, at every point during the season, you're going to sit back and evaluate if this is the right way of playing. We feel really comfortable now. We have a challenging non-conference schedule, and we're going to evaluate during that time period. But the stakes are clear. This league is wide open. We're in this thing to win the league this year, Kevin. We feel like we have enough athletic ability. We have enough depth. We're not a complete team by any nature, but we want to make sure that we play a style that's very different than everybody else in this league. And really, it's a style that I hope that we continue to do for years to come. And if we have no attrition, no injuries, no illness, no reasons to think that we can't do this for a couple of years.
Now you head into kind of a unique situation next year where at the moment there are no open scholarships for the 2015 group. How does that impact your staff moving forward, and in that if nothing changes, this is the team you have for a couple years, and they're, in the sense of recruiting, so much time in the summer goes into in July, that recruiting season, but now you're in a place where you don't have an open spot.
Well, there's two parts to that. One is, if this is our team for the next 2 years, I'll be very happy. The one thing that we've not had is a consistent roster at any point in my first 6 seasons. So if we don't lose a guy to an injury, a key guy, a significant player to an injury, or to anything else, then this is a good basketball team, and that's a positive for our basketball program. It just has not happened here. We've not been able to stay away from the injuries. So if this team can stay together, I like that team. Now, the downside of that is you have no scholarships. You can't add anything to your team. But we will be prepared in case someone decides to leave. We will be recruiting seniors, rising seniors in high school. But what it really allows us to do is to focus on the next class, the kids that will be juniors, the kids that are right now finishing their sophomore class. We actually have a kid coming in on Sunday to take an unofficial visit, a really talented kid that's going to take a couple of visits this weekend, and the CAA this is the league he likes, but he's also being recruited at the highest level. So we have our eye clearly on some 16 kids. We've had probably a half dozen kids from the class of 16 already on campus. We want to keep kind of getting these kids on campus from the class of 2016. So anywhere from Philadelphia on down to below North Carolina, we're going to get kids on campus, and we want to try and be first.
In some respects, it feels like the 2013-14 season didn't end that long ago, and yet your team is pretty far into already in the off-season workout period. Are you able to identify at this point guys who have really stepped up, who have bought into the off-season workouts and have made the biggest jump since the time the season ended?
Well, I would say, Kev, the truth of the matter is I think everybody's made a jump. You see it as freshmen, when freshmen make a jump from their freshman to sophomore year. Yohani and Jackson have had terrific. They've just become much more comfortable. And there are days when they're as good as anybody on the court, and that's a good thing. But all that entire freshman class has had a really good jump. And then what you're really left with are the two juniors to be, Andre Nation and Ron Carey. And I think they're more invested in their own individual improvement at this point than they have since they've been to JMU. And I think they recognize that they've got to be the leaders. They've got to continue to show improvement. And if we're going to be a really good basketball team, they've got to lead the way. I'm really impressed with how the entire approach of our basketball program, it's been as good an off season as we've had. And as we get into summer session 2 here this week, we're going to add 5 new guys, 4 who will impact our team right away, 3 freshmen and a transfer in Winston Grace, and then Devontae Morgan, who's going to really push our guys because he's such a dynamic athlete with defense-first mentality. This is a good group. I mean, sometimes it's good to have a guy sitting out that doesn't have the pressure. We have to put that guy in the game. But this is going to be a really interesting second summer session for us.
That actually leads into my final question of heading into that second summer session, and most of your team will be around for that. How exciting is that as a coach, the day that your next team is here, they're all together, and you get to move forward with that group?
Well, I think everybody's excited. And to be honest, I know that the new guys are excited. I've talked with the parents and each of the new guys coming in here in the last 24 hours. Everybody's really excited. It's a new thing for those guys. But the thing that's really neat, I think, is the returning guys are excited about the new guys coming on to campus and being able to play against these guys and challenge themselves and see what everybody brings to our basketball program. So, I think it's really neat that the returning guys are excited about these new guys coming. It's really going to add an element to their games, the 4-on-4, 5-on-5s they're playing. We're excited. We're allowed to work out with these guys 2 hours a week, and to be able to work with these young guys' skills, for the next month is really, really a great opportunity for us. And this group is taking advantage of that rule as well as any team I've coached.
Well, Coach Brady, thank you for taking the time to join us today to announce Devontae joining the program. Thank you for tuning in to Madison HD Sportsnet presented by the JMU Alumni Association.